What the hell am I doing? Welcome back to the last episode of the I Have No Idea What I'm Doing podcast. My name is Paula Rogo, and I'm your host. After 7 episodes and even a surprise mini-series, we have finally arrived at the end of the I Have No Idea What I'm Doing podcast series. And it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. This season, we have spoken with some of the most inspiring East African women in business and entrepreneurship. They are ceiling breakers, boundary pushers, and all over badass bosses. But that doesn't mean it's been easy for them. Yes, women are on the rise in East Africa, but we can't deny that sexism is real. As a female entrepreneur, this means being hit on when trying to make a business deal. This means being ignored when speaking at board meetings. This means being the only woman in the room in a male-dominated field. This means being asked about your husband when applying for a loan. And it means having all sorts of boundaries and limits put on you just because of your gender. That's why I wanted to spend our final episode talking about sexism. And I asked some of the entrepreneurs and experts featured in earlier episodes about how they experience and deal with it. I hope their perspectives will help you in your own entrepreneurship journey. I'll start with Kelly Murungi, who is the creator of the popular finance blog Rookie Manager and a business consultant at Lattice Consulting. She broke down some of the ways women entrepreneurs encounter sexism. She was featured in episode 2.
There's levels to this. At the very basic, I think it's sexual harassment. That's everywhere, unless you're lucky, to work in an organization which quote unquote is conscious. But if you're starting out on your own in business, you will experience this. And then there are the other subtle, discriminatory practices, like what I said. Maybe you go to the bank to apply for a loan and the relationship manager starts asking questions, where's your husband? Does your husband know about this? Is this car yours? Are you the one who bought it? And, the logbook says it is yours.
Yes. And
so on and so forth. And even in my experience, I've been in a deal where I was asked, but you're not married. What does that have to do with business, Mm-hmm. So there will be instances where people overtly do it. And for me, the ultimate solution is demolish the patriarchy, etc. Yeah. But we have to survive today. So one of the things I do is evaluate the context. So if it is a much older person who grew up at a different time, to be honest, I find like it's not productive to pick a fight. And it makes me sad because I wish I could so that I change their minds. But I'm like, this guy is socialized this way. So I'm going to play along because after all, we're not together for long. But for the younger people, I find continually, and this is easier to do, I think, depending on where you are on the power dynamic, but continually challenging it. Yeah. And pushing back and saying, that has nothing to do with the business, so let's do business. But when it comes to the older guys who unfortunately are the owners of capital, I'll respond and say, no, I don't have a husband, and let them, go on and on and on and on and about independent women. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about business now, Yeah. Because I feel, if I push back, the aim of the meeting breaks down
completely,
and I don't want to do that. But with younger people, and I think it's something we have to continue challenging in the spaces we are in, work and non-work spaces, for people to just realize, their inherent biases and they are playing into how they make their decisions.
As businesswomen, we still have to put up with being chased and harassed in the workplace, especially when you're the only woman in a male-dominated field. Doreen Peter Noni has experienced that firsthand. Doreen is the founder and CEO of Lake FM in Tanzania and is one of the only female radio station owners in East Africa. And she can't decide whether it's harder to be a woman or a young person in the media industry. Doreen appeared in the She Has No Idea What She's Doing mini-series. Do they immediately underestimate you when they meet you?
Yeah, of course, they do. And it happened from the very beginning, and it's still happening now. Well, now you get a little bit more respect because people know the radio station. I don't have to introduce myself. Like, when I start to introduce my station, I just say Lake FM, and people go like, Lake FM. Oh, it's you. You understand? Whereas in the beginning, like, what the hell is Lake FM? Who are you? Stop wasting my time. Like, you don't say that, but you can sense that's what someone is telling you. Sometimes someone doesn't have to say something for you to get that they're saying it. You get my point.
Sometimes women experience sexism before they even enter the office, just because we don't look the way people expect us to. This happens to me a lot. My name is Paula. I sign off my emails as Paula, but for whatever reason, people always expect a Paul and are surprised when a Paula shows up to the meeting or answers the phone. Navalaya Osembo, the CEO and co-founder of Enda Sportswear, knows exactly how it feels to be underestimated. She was a guest on episode 2.
I think in my instance, in most cases, I don't look like my resume. So I go into a lot of places and people don't expect it to be me. I don't know why. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. But people always have a different expectation of who I am. So I'd say that's one instance, or an instance where, for example, if I would go with Weldon somewhere, there's this assumption that he's calling the shot. So, I mean, we kind of do the business together, but there is some places where you kind of go and people don't always expect you to be who you are. So I don't know whether that's sexism or something else. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I think kind of the focus is first, I have learned to not really, if the opinion does not help me or move me forward, then it's irrelevant. So kind of focus on what you're going to achieve. But I think my experience is very different because I'm coming in from a decision-making perspective. I think there are other challenges women face, as Kelly said, like sexual harassment or like not being taken too seriously or like, where's your husband and stuff like that. But I think it's kind of important to keep reinforcing your work while you're there and kind of just pushing through. At the end of the day, I always say results speak better for themselves, and kind of people end up getting used to that idea.
Okay, ladies, this is a really great conversation, but I just wanted to take a moment to announce the next Kali Media project. In January, we'll be launching Kali Leta, a bi-weekly newsletter that is an unfiltered lens of news, pop culture, lifestyle, and feminism for East African women. It's like an email from your smart, funny, and savvy best friend right there in your inbox. You can go sign up for it now on the Kali Media website at www.kali.media/KaliLeta. That's www.kali.media/KALILETTER. Now back to this great conversation. Some women entrepreneurs even have to deal with people expecting white men to be the bosses behind their businesses. Take a listen to what Nicole Ansoni of Inca Steakhouse had to say about this and navigating sexism in Rwanda. Nicole appeared in the She Has No Idea What She's Doing miniseries.
Yes. So most people will come to the restaurant and expect it to be owned by an older white male, and the 50% will celebrate when they find out that it's a young, female black owner, and the other 50%, and that includes our own brothers and sisters, who will sort of be quite upset that the restaurant belongs to a young black woman, because I think that's another insecurity that brings out the why her and not me. So on a sort of business point of view, no, it's not an obstacle. I haven't faced any obstacles in terms of me being black and me being a female. But in terms of socially, yes, socially, I find many people to be very patronizing in how they address me or talk to me, because they feel that as much as I could have this kind of a business, which is doing well, people feel like they still have to school me on something, because hey, little girl, let me school you and tell you how to run your business, even though I'm a teller at a bank, or I do nothing that has to do with food, but I'm going to tell you, little girl, how to run your business. So yeah, from a social point of view, I think there are a lot of stereotypes and stigmas that we have to break, because the reality is that we live in a patriarchal society. But the great thing is that at least that's on a social level. So that doesn't really affect my bottom line in terms of the business.
Melissa Mbugwa, the managing partner of M&M Consulting, also knows what it's like to work in predominantly male environments. She's worked in the technology and innovation industries for years. I spoke with her in our very first episode. One of the questions I had for her is how she deals with all the male egos.
Girl, I have no time. In the sense that, I just don't have time for people who are not open-minded, who are not here. here for the future. I just don't deal. That's how I don't deal with the backbenchers and the hecklers and the bad guys. I'm just here. I'm here for the people who want to move forward. Here's the thing actually I've learned. The people who are switched on and who are succeeding and who you can see have a good long-term trajectory tend to not be the douchebags. The douchebags actually, you're like, you're not going to last. So it's just about, choosing who I'm set up to work with and deal with. Yeah, I literally just walk away. Some people I think don't even say hi to me anymore because they just know I don't have time.
Shefa Okore, also from the first episode, had a lot to say about men in the workplace. Shefa is the vice chair of Kenya's Ukweli Party and the program manager of Siasa Place. I asked her how she survives as a woman in politics and how she deals with both the double standards from the media and criticisms from her male colleagues.
I choose myself. And I don't apologize. And I say that politely, that I just don't apologize for being me, right? And I don't feel sorry for wanting this space I'm in to be fulfilling for me. So that's one. And it's a difficult space because everybody wants you to be a leader that they choose. So everybody has a standard. Everybody has their preferences. And it's very subjective of how I expect my leader to behave or talk or dress or be, or even be in a relationship or not, right? And it ends up being all this noise that takes up a lot of your energy and a lot of the good things that you're supposed to do, and it's consuming. And then you just decide to, shut it down, choose yourself, focus on you and why you're here. Right. So that's the thing. And it's learning how to get to a space where you say, I choose to lead in my own terms and in my own way. And also just knowing that, I'm not here to be liked, right? And I repeat that. I'm here to get things done. I'm not here to be liked. It's fine if you don't like us. That's also really, really cool. But now just get out of our way so we can get this work done. Because there's a lot of work on the table. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just stay to the side. Because that's the thing about also thinking that, oh my God, I'm going to ruffle so many feathers. What if a lot of people don't like me? How many people are there in the world? There are a couple billion people. Yeah.
You'll be fine.
You'll be good. You'll be good. Because the people who you have to change for them to accept you, you really don't need them in your life. Yeah. So choose you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen indeed. I completely agree. So ladies, we're all experiencing sexism in all parts of society, and we have to stick together. So look out for your sisters. Open doors for them, because it's hard out here for female bosses. Thank you to all our wonderful guests for sharing their wisdom. I can tell you that a woman somewhere learned something today, and I hope a man did too. And that's it, ladies. The final episode of the I Have No Idea What I'm Doing podcast. What a journey it has been. I started this podcast to learn, and I hope our guests have given you the knowledge and advice to help your business dreams come true. That's what I'm doing with Kali Media, and I hope you keep up with our journey. Otherwise, I wish all of you powerful, smart, ambitious East African women, the best of luck. I have a couple of thanks to share as I close out. I would like to thank the team behind the scenes, those whose names I read at the end of each episode, and those whose names you've never heard, especially to my producer Halima Gikandi. We started working on this at the beginning of the year, and I really would not have made it to the finish line without you. Thanks also to Nadia Balogu for holding us down on social media, our intern Jean Karani for jumping in when needed, and Deborah Cartwright for the gorgeous podcast image. I would also like to thank Melissa Mbugwa and Ian Gashishio of M&M Consulting for stepping in with promotional assistance and your ever-important wisdom. All the friends that patiently listened and gave feedback, thank you so much. Koala, you know who you are. I'm forever grateful you're in my life. Thank you. And finally, my family. Thank you for giving me the space to think outside the box. My parents, mom and dad, I know you're worried about this entrepreneurship thing, but I think we'll be okay. And finally, thank you to all our listeners in Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. I am forever grateful. Look for Kali Media in 2019. We have a lot of great content coming your way. I'm your host, Paula Rogo. See you next year.